Hey everyone, I'm Arier, and this is going to be a quick walkthrough of how to reach the different tiers in endgame Destiny light levels. Specifically, the first tier being 240, then the next tier being 240 to 365, and in between there the 50s range, which are complete pain, and from 365 all the way up to the light cap of, well, as of this moment where I'm recording this video, 385, but later in the year, once hard mode comes out, it'll be up to 400. As you can tell, I've just recently passed over 366, so I know the most about the first two, but the principle for the last end of the game is very steady, and I can get to that one later. To start with, reaching 340. This is by far the easiest method. Everything in the game, no matter what you do, will help you to this end. I would recommend the easiest way being just to go to... I would normally say the Siva playlist, and actually I would incredibly recommend the Siva playlist. Play through the mission though first. It will drop something at 340 no matter what the first time you do it. So it is the best way to get 340 equipment. So if you haven't played Destiny in the last year or two, or you're just getting into it now for the first time, do that. It will work. Then, once you have everything at 340, you'll start the slower grind up. While you're building everything up in 340, you'll be getting different engrams, like purples, maybe exotics if you have 3 of coins. Do not use them. Every purple you collect, put in the vault. Every exotic you collect, put it in the vault. Do not use them. I know it's tempting. I made the mistake a few times. Don't. Hold on to them. Do not, for the love of God, keep that on you. Do not tempt it. Do not accidentally press it while you're talking to that goddamn murderer Rahul. Yeah, sorry, bad joke about the first loot cave with Rahul. But hold on to them. They will be very useful later. Right now, it's a mistake. What you're going to want to do, though, is then once you've run through a bunch of Siva strikes, you're going to notice that in the very basic Siva strikes, you're going to get skeleton keys. Hold on to those. Do not use them. The loot at the end will be great. Not the heroic strikes, I should add. The Siva playlist that you find in the Vanguard up in the corner. Not heroic. Up until you reach 350, that's fine. After 350, you're going to want to switch a bit. Because you'll hit the 340 mark, that's the easy level. 350, you're going to want to start doing more heroic strikes. It'll be very hard at first, but you will be churning through levels pretty fast because at the end of each strike, you'll get blue drops. Do not dismantle them because they're always higher than your light level. They will just keep going until you reach 365. You're going to have a few moments here and there where your light levels and your ghost won't match up. So at this point, you're going to want to start grinding faction rep. This will drop ghosts occasionally, which you will need. And occasionally, if you're very lucky, something will decode as an artifact. If you get a good artifact, save it. Keep it. You will need it. Also, at this point, when you hit the 350 mark, as much as I would caution against it, it might be a good idea to bring out a couple purples. But only if you have an overflow of them, if you're about to lose space into the vault. Short of that, don't. Just decode all the blues, and maybe one of them will decode as an artifact. It's honestly not a bad way to do it. The guaranteed way, though, well, as close to a guarantee as you can get in a random generation area, is to grind faction rep, specifically Eris the Crota's Bane. To do this, you'll go to the Prison of Elders. Sorry. The Court of Oryx. You can tell where my mind's at. To grind it, though, you'll only get 50 per win, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. You need thousands to get a next level. 2,500 like every other faction. The only way to realistically do this is to take the bounties in Crota's Bane that Eris hands out, and the weekly, the bigger one that drops in the court itself. Grind those. They drop hundreds of rep. You can easily level up there, and it'll just work out pretty well. She has the biggest chance out of everything to drop an artifact, and it'll be faction leveled, so it's always good. Now, this will get you a slow building process up until you get to maybe about 350 where it gets harder. At this point, blues start decoding low, unless they're heroics. At the 350 mark, just focus on two things. Two things. Either run the strikes, specifically the regular strikes, now heroic strikes, that you'll get in the little directory, the set destination, this thing right over here. You're going to want to hit these up right now. I've been running a ton of them. Now, you'll want to do this because the blues, but it's one of the best and fastest way to do it. As of this current hotfix, though, 23.04, or is it 24.03? I'm not sure. It's the one that came out on the 29th of October. Sorry, September. The 29th of September. I almost forgot what day it is. This one enabled more Siva, the ones that enable the Archon's Forge. Not clusters. Siva offerings. As of today, the Siva offerings are dropping a lot more frequently in the Forge and guaranteed for Siva outbreak patrols. So that's actually a viable outcome now. You'll want to run that as well, because it's actually just very fun. Now, the drop rate isn't as high, and it's not guaranteed. The Heroic Crisis is guaranteed, so that's a much safer and more guaranteed investment of time. But take some time also just to do the Archon's Forge piece. It is fun, and it's fast-paced, and you won't regret it even if you don't get any good drops. One of the good drops, though, is a Saladin Vigil. Hold on to that shit if it has Brace Frame. Just tip there, just do that. All this should slowly grind you up to 365. When you get there, that's when all the items I told you not to use come into play. You're going to want to use a lot of different things right now. Now, I should mention, when you hit 360, you're going to hit a bit of a wall. This wall is why you held on to all the purples. Decode them all now. Just go into whatever you need, decode it so it's like one higher. The rule of thumb is, if your light level's at 340 or 350, take whatever is your lowest light level and decode a purple for that. It's the basic level up strategy that we've been more or less working on since they hot fixed it back during the Taken King, so you can actually incrementally level up 1-to-1 as opposed to infusing things at a weaker extent, which no one needs to know about now because it doesn't exist. So once you do all this, exhaust your purples, get to 365. Now this is where it's actually more straightforward now because there's nothing holding you back. Take your exotics and do that because they will decode above 365. Blue will not do it. They'll stop at 340. Purples will stop at 365 and won't go higher. And the strikes will also stop at 365 and not go higher. So they're kind of useless to do. But in a strike, the skeleton keys, those drops at the end of each mission, those will decode higher. That's why you had to hold on to the skeleton keys, because you can use them to get an item. Now, you might want to look up what each strike has. The new ones are mostly a sniper, so a secondary and a bond. Those are the options. So don't use it if you don't think what you need is one of those two items. That's very much situational, but that's what they're good for. Find out what is possible, and if that's something you need light level wise. As for exotics, they're the same. Use them for where you need it. And at this point, you can also do the different events. You can still do the Archon Forge, which you can find by doing the patrol mission, because it is always going to drop either at your light level or a little higher than it, sometimes maybe one lower just because they're being dicks. But it's a much more viable option now because Siva offerings are dropping much more frequently. Before, in the first week or so, they weren't. They were very rare, and you might get maybe 5 missions if you were like 5 actual events in a row. And that's if every person started with 5. Like, started with one, and you had a 5-person team in there who just happened to be there because you want to bring 3. And Archon's Forge is viable as of the last hotfix. I'm just going to leave that there. So you can keep doing that all the way from 365 on. You can keep doing the different bigger events. Iron Banner will still be good. Crucible still gets good drops at the end, but they're mostly weapons, so only do that for a weapon if you need that. Because level-wise, they'll keep going, but they're not frequent enough to really make it worthwhile if you're grinding. You can run Osiris, though, because if you can get the gold package, which doesn't involve winning, just playing the game enough, that is a good possibility of something very useful to you. It will be a light level advantage, and they're usually just good items, so that's worth it. Even if you suck at Osiris, the trials, do that. Do Iron Banner. It's coming up in a few days for the first one in year 3, and it'll be good the rest of it because, okay, I'm biased. I love Iron Banner. It's just fun. Just do that stuff. It'll always help you out because any drop will be to your light level or slightly higher. That's the mechanic they're working on right now, so it's always useful. Maybe not efficient or quick, but if you just grind through it, you will get something sooner or later. And the drops, from what they said, are useful as well. Other than that, those are just the basic ways. You're going to want to use the skeleton keys. You're going to want to use the exotic engrams, the Osiris, and Osiris once a week, so you can at least get the gold drops every day if they haven't changed how often they offer the bounty to do that. and you want to do PvP in Iron Banner. And of course, the big one, the raid. Just because it's the raid, you always get the best stuff in it. Now, normal mode is still the main one. As I'm making this video, hard mode hasn't come out yet. But this raid, unless there's a drastic mechanic change in hard mode, I can understand if it's more of a fun raid as opposed to the entire Oryx deal, which was, okay, you know exactly what you're doing, or you fuck everything up forever. Forever. Yeah, seriously, that's going to be a bitch no matter how many times you run that thing. Well, with new people. If you have a team that's well-oiled, it's easy as pie, but fucking LFG. But yeah, that's how to make it. I've actually only reached this recently because I kind of got distracted by SIVA cluster hunting. But I'm not complaining about my light level. I'm probably going to hit 370 within the next couple days just because I have a huge amount of, well, a lot of exotics, a lot of skeleton keys, and I'm just going to be running Iron Banner to the hell and back because it's awesome. Just have fun with it, though. And whenever you do, don't do this to the point where you lose interest in the game, because that would be worse than anything. Stop, have fun, break up what you're doing, run Court of Oryx if you enjoy that. I'm not as personal. Run Archon's Forge because it is so freaking fun. Just bring a shotgun into Archon's Forge and just run and gun. It is so worth it because you'll get so many drops. It's just fun. Speaking of someone who loves PvP or PvE running gunning with a shotgun, but that's personal. Do something that makes you really enjoy the game in between all the grinding. Because the worst thing possible would be to getting a great light level and then realizing you're bored. Just have fun. It's the best thing you can do. And, well, if you see me in Trials of Osiris, give me a headshot because I'll probably be standing there like an idiot. I suck at sniping, but I try it anyways. Yeah. All the same. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like right down there. If you can, support me on Patreon, and there should be a subscriber button right around here somewhere. Don't forget to hit it. It helps a lot. Oh god, I'm a dork. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed. Hope it helps, and well, see you in PvE or PvP, whatever comes first. Later.